Hello, guys. Welcome here to Sunday Morning Tinkle. Boy, when I change shirts, I'm actually a little bit mad now because I should have put on Masters green because we go from March Madness to the Masters this weekend. It's a busy month of April. The National Championships, the Masters, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. Well, actually, they start in May, so they don't count. Man, this is just a crazy month. And also, should I add, a notable face is coming back to the Masters. Well, I'll cover that in a moment. But, needless to say, very exciting. We're going to recap March Madness in the next part of the show. It's going to be a short one today. NFL has decided they don't want to give us any more ammo to use today, so we've got to do our Tinkle rundown. I don't even think you're the only one. We only got one bullet point with NFL related topics in our rundowns this week. So should I just say this is the first?
Yeah, it is.
But all right.
I was gonna start the takeaways, right?
I think it's my turn, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you had it last week, but I can't remember.
I think you did. So, all right. I'm just going to take it away real quick. See, this is the one time I'm not going to be gentlemanlike and give it to him. Okay, because I teased about Tiger Woods beforehand. So Tiger Woods is returning to the Masters. His first round, he shot a 71. By the way, you triple that, that's about my average golf score. So congrats, Tiger. Great round. And of course, for those who don't know, Tiger Woods almost lost his leg in a car accident last year. So this is essentially his first major since that injury. Of course, he did golf with his son back in October. So I'm just glad to see Tiger back out there. I mean, I don't watch golf. I have no interest in watching it. I'd rather be out on the field than anything else. But when you hear a name like Tiger Woods in the field, amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's showcasing that he can at least be somewhat Tiger Woods. It's going to be a while before he gets back to that kind of level, but it's a start, and it shows progression that he's willing to do what it needs to be done to get back onto the golf course.
And of course, he's honestly one of the greatest golfers of all time. It's great to see him out there not slowing down. And, we'll see. Of course, we only have the highlight from the first round, but we will we'll know the results later today. Of course, the Masters on CBS. This is also, I mentioned a busy month. How about a busy week for Jim Nantz? He goes from covering the National Championship to now going right to the PGA Tour. So,
of course.
Jim Nantz is just a legend. But my next takeaway here, of course, we talked last week, Shaheen Holloway has taken the job at his alma mater, Seton Hall, and he is leaving St. Peter's after their remarkable run in the tournament. Well, he's not the only one leaving now. Their three stars, most notably Doug Edert, has entered the NCAA transfer portal. So, of course, the new eligibility rules, he can play right away wherever he goes. But all three of those stars likely going to be, or they will be leaving. I imagine it'll be to Seton Hall to join Shaheen Holloway because they're not, I just don't think they're starters on any other Power 5 or Power 6 roster per se.
Possibility. It very well is possible that they can join their old coach and have the kind of success that they had this year with St. Peter's. So
we'll see. Getting the band back together. Yeah, you got to get the band back together. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we're still probably another week or two away from actually finding out where they'll go. But man, that's a shame. I just want to say I really hate the new NCAA rules that you can play immediately after transferring schools, because to me it's as bad as the one and done rule. But I'm not going to get into that today. I know we got time to fill, but I think that's an argument for when we're really in the postseason and all we have to cover is baseball. So maybe we'll save it for then.
There we go.
If another big NCAA story comes up, of course. But moving on, how's about the Gamecocks? South Carolina has defeated UConn. It is UConn's first loss in the national championship round on the women's side. And I have to talk about the women's side, but let me just say, I've coached both men and women's. I love coaching the women's side, really, because their eagerness to learn, there's no egos there, which is great. No offense to Jason, obviously, or any of the, Jason, myself, or anyone, but let's face it, we weren't as good at learning, compared to, we were eager to learn and get on the court, but, the women's side, though, oh my gosh, they'll run through a wall. And can I just say that South Carolina had probably the best defensive game I've ever seen in a basketball game in general. They ran, I think, a 1-2-2 in the full court and just constant trapping. They never let Paige Beckers get open. Paige Beckers was, covered, straight, I'm sorry, it was, this close. That's how close they were covering her, and they got away with it. They suffocated her the whole game. They suffocated all the UConn stars, really took them out of the game, and it shows right there. Defense wins championships. I've said it before, I'll say it again.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so I'm not going to make a joke, but can I just say that Sue Bird, by the way, Sue Bird, come on, grow up. Okay, no more jokes about their mascot name. But anyway, with that, let's move on to Jason's takeaways after a very short takeaway for me.
Yeah, I know. Well, he ain't going anywhere, so Trayvon, you better hope that you can eventually, if you want to play with your brother, it might have to be in Buffalo, not in Dallas, because your boy is now with the Bills for a combined 6 years, including this year, so technically 5 more after this season. But he signed a 4-year, $96 million contract, equating to 6 years over $120 million.
Well deserved.
If I remember anything, if that is to note, that's exactly the same contract that Von Miller has signed, a 6-year, $120 million contract. Right. So Stephon Diggs and Von Miller technically, in reality, are making about the same amount of money per year under contract. Yes, it is very well deserved. After 2 years in Buffalo, he has equated over 1,000 receiving yards, so it is well deserved.
It's going to be fun watching this bromance. By the way, I'm not sure if you saw, but Adam Schefter, when he announced it, he broke the news, of course. Josh Allen immediately responded. Of course, when he responded about Trayvon Diggs, he said no. Just no in general. This one, he responded yes. So we know Josh Allen is psyched to have his wide receiver back.
Yeah, definitely psyched. I think that Buffalo kind of had no choice to extend him right then and there because of all the rumors of Trayvon trying to grab him to Dallas. I don't think they couldn't afford to lose him with how much success that he's had in Buffalo. It was just the right move for Buffalo to do. I know they could have waited until after the season to get the extension done, but it's better to get it done now than wait until after next season where anything is possible. He would enter free agency, unrestricted free agent. You don't know what would happen. Now they got it done and over with, and they don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing that they have to deal with. Then they can, continue looking forward into free agency, which is going to be tough for the Buffalo Bills because next year they would have Von Miller's money they had to worry about. They would have Josh Allen starting his 6-year mega deal. That's why I'm glad that Buffalo has got the pieces into place right now and re-signed a bunch of the talent that has made this team what it is. So as far as what could happen now with Diggs under contract, you better hope for better production. I'm hoping that Diggs can really take the next step forward. Yeah. Not saying that he hasn't. I'm just hoping that he can really step up as a leader and really help this team get to the next level.
I just hope he can jump from... I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but a fringe top 5,
to a top 3.
To a top 3. Now, I'm not going to argue that he's not a top 5 wide receiver, but there are times he's not. Okay, he's not that consistent from what I've seen. Like some games he's hot, some games he's cold. But, it's very rare that he's cold.
I guess it depends on the kind of coverage he's getting during the game, because if he gets man-to-man, straight man-to-man the whole entire game, he's going to burn your corners every single time. If it's straight double team, heavy press defense, then probably won't have the kind of production, and hence why Gabriel Davis has had the kind of season he did. That's what is going to make Buffalo so very explosive, is now with the emerging star of Gabriel Davis, who is to say that he doesn't start getting the double coverage, because they know how Gabriel Davis can happen. I expect either a career year out of Gabriel Davis, or because of Gabriel Davis emerging as a star, who's to say that Diggs doesn't have a better production year?
I think it's going to be balanced, but
bringing in a guy like Jameson Crowder helps too, because he's somebody that can catch the deep passes, somebody that can be explosive and fast. I think, he wasn't, he's not better than like a McLaurin or Justin Jefferson, but he's somebody that is going to be a very impactful player. Same thing with Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie is going to be a very impactful core wide receiver that they can use like a Deebo Samuel, which I don't get why they haven't. He has that production value that he can be, so Buffalo can be very explosive.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that draws me away from Buffalo is the best you could do for extra running back is Duke Johnson. Really? Okay, no, get it. You have Zach Moss, you have Devin McIngletary, you have Duke Johnson. You have a committee, but I do think that it was the right move for Diggs to get the contract extension, even though Buffalo could have waited. And this is where I move into my second thought. This is not anything NFL-wise. This is actually NBA-wise. Let me tell you something, people. Would you ever would have thought that a championship team...
It looks like we have a connection issue.
Told me that the next 2 seasons they would have gotten knocked out by the Warriors, I would have called you a liar. Well, let me tell you something, people. They got knocked out twice. And guess who it was? The Golden State Warriors. 2 years in a row. got knocked out of playoff contention.
Shows you when you build a retirement home for an NBA franchise, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, if you told me a team of LeBron, Russell Wilson, and Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, all would have missed the playoffs, I would have told you, not a fat chance in hell. Well, yeah, they did. Russell Westbrook had a crappy season. Anthony Davis hurt most of the year. LeBron had some injury problems too. So you can't put all the blame just on Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. But now, oh yeah, I should have put that down there too. Now I'll tie this into, it's also leading into the thing that now Frank Vogel is now going to be expected to be terminated from his contract because of the 2 seasons in a row where they missed playoffs.
It's not necessarily all his fault. I mean, Anthony Davis should be gone at this point. He literally won a championship and then decided, okay, I'm good. Like, it's time for them to move on from him.
Honestly, if the Lakers want to make the right move, I think you move away from Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook, his trade value might have gone down because of the kind of season he had, but you can still get some decent aspects or trade capital. If I'm the Lakers, I would go for some young and uprising stars more than the veterans. Don't get me wrong, having veterans on a team definitely equates to things, but in today's NBA, you're gonna have to go more for, rebuilding towards the future. Because if I'm looking at that Lakers team right now, there's not really a whole lot of young stars. Maybe a Malik Monk is kind of a young uprising star that can do something. That's probably about it. There's not really any other guy. They're mostly a bunch of out of what's the word I'm looking for? Out of prime veterans.
Yeah.
Veterans are out of their prime. Like Russell Westbrook is probably hitting that.
Well,
Anthony Davis, he's way too young to be out of his prime.
He's just got a motivation problem, I think.
LeBron
is still putting up numbers, though. That's the funny thing. LeBron is still somewhat ageless in terms of his playing ability. So I don't think he's as much the problem as it is the supporting cast that he decided to build.
I mean, I get it. LeBron really does want to stay with the Lakers because he's really close to where his son plays. But I hate to say it, if you're LeBron, you have to understand when enough is enough of being on the Lakers, because apparently something's not working. And who's to say that even if it wasn't because of everything that happened with Kobe and the bubble and restarting the season, pretty much, if they even would have won the 2020 NBA championship that year. So, this Lakers team, the last 3 years with LeBron, has almost made the Lakers like a joke more than it has been a legitimate, powerhouse. Yeah, LeBron won a championship in 2020, but
I think it's time to move on from the phrase that if you jump on with LeBron, you can win a title. I think it's time to move on from that, okay? I'm not saying you can't win a title with LeBron in today's game, but the guarantee is no longer a guarantee. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, today's day of NBA, because honestly, even right now, the super teams aren't working. We're kind of getting back to that term where the super teams don't seem to be working anymore. Because I think teams have been finding out ways to beat the super teams. For example, look at the Nets. the Nets super team. It didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, this Lakers team, you couldn't call a super team, I don't think. You can't really argue that it was a super team. It was more LeBron and friends than anything else.
I mean, just by how Anthony Davis was beforehand and Russell Westbrook, you can kind of consider it a super team because they were all stars. I mean, they were putting up, good numbers and stuff like that.
I don't know.
But
to me,
again, I don't know.
It's not as disappointing as the first Lakers super team with Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Kobe Bryant. Or I'm sorry, not Chris Paul. Steve Nash. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant.
You know what?
That was
though.
A disaster.
Speaking of Chris Paul, though, they should have tried for him instead of Russell Westbrook. I know there's also been talk about DeMar DeRozan as well, which they should have also considered. But, Jeannie Buss needs to also stop being cheap. So that's a big part of where things stand with the Lakers.
Yeah, they'll have some hardships this off season. That's for damn sure. Of course, it happened a lot sooner than they would have wanted, but the Lakers hopefully can eventually get to be that kind of team like they used to be. But honestly, I don't think there's any promises. But if there's any team that has had some better success as of late, which is nice to see them finally back into the fold of the playoffs. But one star is expected to not be with them for the rest of the year. Lonzo Ball, who is recovering from meniscus surgery, is expected to miss the rest of the year. That's a really low blow, as they only really have Alex Caruso, Vucevic. DeMar DeRozan has just been phenomenal for the Chicago Bulls. Like, that man is literally like Derrick Rose 2.0 almost. And who's to say it may be a better Derrick Rose? And then they also have I'm pretty sure, actually, I think he's out for the rest of the year too. I'm pretty sure who else is that other star that they have?
You're asking the wrong person. So
yeah, he was in the slam dunk contest with Aaron Gordon.
Oh, Levine, right?
Yeah, Zach LaVine. I'm pretty sure he's out for the rest of the year too. Yeah. So Chicago, their luck for the playoffs doesn't look very, very good. I think they can. It sucks because I think that they're going to be one of those teams that had a really good run in the regular season, but be one and done in the playoffs. We've seen that multiple times before.
It's going to be a what could have been season, more than likely.
Yeah, that's why I say don't give up hope yet, Chicago Bulls fans, because once that team gets healthy, I think that they can be a powerhouse again in the East. Just have hope. Hopefully, a lot of the guys can stay healthy and they can be maybe one of the top seeds. So, don't give up hope yet.
But yeah.
And I'm ready for the break.
Yeah, I think it's time for a union break. No, I'm kidding. It's not a union break, but it's a anchor break. So when we come back, we'll discuss the national championship, Coach K, and then, of course, the Tinkle on this. But, of course, we'll talk about that in a moment when we come back from the Tinkle break here on Sunday Morning Tinkle, or the anchor break on Sunday Morning Tinkle. All right, welcome back. March Madness just wrapped up this week. Of course, we want to congratulate the Kansas Jayhawks. I did not expect to be saying this year. But the Kansas Jayhawks are your 2022 national champions. They overcame a 15-point deficit, the largest, I believe, in March Madness history. Wow, is all I can say, over North Carolina, a team that ended Coach K's coaching career. So, man, what a shame to see that. But it looked like it was a good game, honestly. I wish I had stayed up for it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from what I was seeing, at least in the first half, I thought that UNC maybe was going to have the game. I didn't expect that Kansas was going to come out of the second half and just, like, nope, this is our half. We're going to make this half ours, and we're going to come back and win it.
Yeah.
I never would have thought.
Well,
It's crazy to think. But this is not the first time in recent years that UNC has blown a championship game. If anybody remembers Villanova beating UNC a couple
at the buzzer.
Years ago, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, when Jenkins hit the buzzer beater to win the game.
Yeah.
But I must say that despite the 15-point loss, of course, we got to give credit to Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis coached a hell of a season. He flew under the radar all year, really. And he led his team to a national title. Again, normally I say you got to give coaches about 4 or 5 years to get their program built. Especially because, let's face it, no one expected Roy Williams to retire at the end of last season. And for him to kind of step up, it's really not his roster, it's Roy Williams' roster. I think he's going to have a good career over there at UNC. If his first year is any indication. And it's going to put some pressure on John Shire, of course. 34-year-old John Shire is now the new head coach of Duke men's basketball. And he will be replacing Coach K, who is now officially retired from the game. Man, the landscape is just changing. But
I know. It is.
Um,
It's going to be interesting to see how much success they can have for the future, especially when they're involved with the whole recruitment aspect of, getting players and stuff like that. So that's where your whole knowledge of who might be the best, players to recruit is going to come into factor, because as a head coach, you gotta do what's best to make your team better. And if there's no top prospects out there, then you're not really doing your job very well. But you can do the best you can to put together a good team. So
yeah, it shouldn't be hard with a program like that. I should note it shouldn't be.
Yeah, probably
not. Hubert Davis. Yeah. I mean, the prestige of UNC basketball, the prestige of Duke basketball will always be there. Because, let's face it, Duke was put on the map by Coach K. Dean Smith put UNC on. Dean Smith and Michael Jordan put UNC basketball on the map. And then, I say the same thing about Gonzaga. Mark Few put Gonzaga on the board, even though they play in the weakest conference. And then Jim Boeheim did the same for Syracuse. So, I mean, Hubert Davis, he still got big shoes to fill, but at least he's going to be able to get recruits just on the fact that he coaches such a prestigious program. And the same for John Shire. He will be able to bring in some young guys with talent. So, ACC is not dead. Let's put it that way. The ACC will be fine. But, again, Coach K's career, though, remarkable. I don't need to say anything about the Hall of Fame. He's already in there. But, you know, I think it goes without saying what Coach K's impact to the game was. It was just remarkable. So congrats, Coach K, on your retirement. You know, enjoy it, I guess, and, you know, enjoy watching some Duke basketball, maybe going out for some golf and dinner with your buddy Jim Boeheim once in a while. So,
Yes.
yeah. With that, though, let's do Tinkle on this. Of course, many of you know, because of the CBS and Turner deal, the inside the NBA team, with the exception of Shaq, who apparently thinks he's too good for March Madness, they all get together with the CBS crew. The inside the NBA team does cover the NCAA tournament. And Kenny the Jet Smith, of course, is a UNC alumni. And let's just say he was not happy about that 15-point lead blown. And Charles Barkley decided it was a good chance to get after Kenny the Jet Smith there. So he goes and dances right behind him, dances in his face. You know, all I could say is, Charles, you're going to have some payback coming your way when the NBA playoffs start and we get into this whole ring discussion again. But Kenny the Jet Smith, Tinkle on this, man. Like, come on.
I was about to say, Kenny the Jet Smith has a lot more talk on that than Charles Barkley, because he was with the Houston Rockets when they won back-to-back years, and pretty sure 94, 95. So, but yes, Tinkle on this. I saw the dance. Man.
Charles Barkley is like a dad dancer.
He's a sore winner, isn't he? When he gets his guarantees correctly, he's a sore winner, isn't he?
Yeah. He's gotten like 4 of 4 so far in this past sports year, just about.
Yeah, because I remember when he would guarantee and just be absolutely trash. Now he's actually guaranteeing and it's happening. So who's he going to guarantee to win it all this year? I'm very interested to know who he has to win the NBA Finals.
I don't know, honestly.
I'm pretty sure last year he guaranteed the Bucks winning it all, and it happened. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, that's where it all started. He guaranteed the Braves World Series, I believe. He guaranteed, I forget what else he guaranteed, and then of course he guaranteed Kansas the national championship.
I think that's insane that he actually got that one correctly, because we all thought it was going to be Duke's year to win it all, but it didn't happen like that.
Exactly. But, man, you know, Charles, can you give me some gambling advice? I want to know so I can bet all my savings on something and win. I want your guarantee on my bid, okay?
Right.
So, but with that, though, I guess it's a good time to say thanks for watching. Of course, I do want to just throw across a program note. Of course, this is not impacting Out of Turn 4 or No Final Bell. They will air as scheduled this week. You know, they will air as scheduled this week. We will not have this show next Sunday. We're taking a break. I think after the Super Bowl, the NFL season, we deserve at least a week off to get prepped for the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, you know, NFL draft. That's going to be taking up a good portion of our time next show. And, of course, that'll take up a good 2 months between both playoffs.
It sounds stupid to ask this, but when is the NFL draft itself?
I think it's on Thursday. It's Thursday the 28th, I believe.
No.
So, yeah. So we'll be back for that. Of course, we're also taking off for Easter. I got a new job. I want a little bit of a break as well. But It's only 1 week, of course, compared to our summer break that we take. So we will be back the following Sunday again to talk NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup. We'll of course talk MLB. MLB is back. Of course, opening day was Thursday. So we'll have plenty of time to discuss that. But Jason, time for you to tell us what's coming up this week with No Final Bell.
Yeah. Here we got the match of the century between FTR and Young Bucks for both the ROH and the AAA tag team titles. And I think it was a great show because AEW Dynamite was completely sold out in Boston, Massachusetts, both for Dynamite and Rampage. So
good job.
AEW doing good things, at least in that standard. So what's up for out of turn 4.
That's all right. So we'll be recapping Long Beach, of course. We'll also be recapping NASCAR at Martinsville. And then, of course, we will be talking NASCAR on the Bristol Dirt for the second straight season. Of course, the first time they've raced on Easter Sunday in years. Actually, maybe ever. I don't know. But, of course, they're racing on Easter Sunday thanks to the Super Bowl being a little bit later. But, I'm not going to complain. But we'll get you prepared for the Food City Dirt Race. And, of course, we'll get you ready for everything else racing this week. Of course, there's a little bit of news out there. It's really, to be honest, mid-season. See, compared to the NFL, mid-season in racing is not as big because, of course, there's not many headlines at the beginning of the year. Mid-season, when drivers are signing new contracts, switching teams, getting, for the next season, because unlike NFL free agency, it doesn't happen in the off-season. It happens mid-season, where they announce their next year's plans. So, around July, we'll be picking up, of course. July business will pick up, and then it'll pick up straight through to November, so...
Yeah, it's good because No Final Bell is always going to be picking up because there's always constant weekly news that happens. I mean, sometimes it can be slow and not much going on, but then there is a lot that goes on. So,
yeah.
And of course, with this show, a note. I mean, of course, it's not going to happen right now, but your boy is going to be going on vacation again, so that's. We'll be off, have that show, and then probably be off again, and then have another show afterwards, type of thing.
We'll see. Of course, I forgot about that. So we'll discuss that when we come back for the 24th at least. But we hope you enjoy your Easter. Jason will see you Wednesday. I'll see you on Tuesday. Of course, No Final Bell Wednesdays at 5 on YouTube. And then, of course, Out of Turn 4 Tuesdays at 5 on YouTube and Facebook Watch. We'll see you then. But unless you're not going to watch both shows, which would make us very, very sad. But, if you don't watch them, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.